What was life like as a student at RISD?
Well, I get super nostalgic when I think about my times in on College Hill at RISD in Providence. It's a beautiful atmosphere. It was really great to meet a lot of like minds, other young artists. It was it was the I entered RISD in 1970, so I was there the first 4 years of the 70s, and that was a good time. The draft had ended. The, the the drinking age was 18. um, there, RISD had an inordinate. Even my father noticed this. RISD had an inordinate amount of pretty girls in attendance there, so that was really great, and I just loved being there. It was everything that I had hoped for. And I got to study painting. I was studying painting there, and there were good people there. I loved it.
Did you always have a love for music, or did that start during your time at
Well,
RISD?
the music thing actually started before I became a painter. I started playing music when I was in elementary school, um, in the school band, public school, and I started off on the trumpet, but it wasn't working out for me very well. But my music teacher was very astute. He said, "Chris, uh, you got a good sense of rhythm. What do you think we switch you over to the drums?" And I said, "Sure, I would love that," because I didn't really care what my instrument was. I just wanted to play. And I switched over to drums. I did my homework and I got really good.
So tell me about the artistics and how that came to be.
Well, the artistics was a group of friends. It was myself, David Byrne, another David from a friend of mine from Kentucky, David Anderson, and Hank Staler on bass. And we sometimes had other friends come in, but it was really those four, the two Davids, Hank and myself. And the idea was to just play music for our friends, like we played at the Valentine's Day Ball at RISD. That was our big gig. And we played outdoors across from the RISD Museum. And we played a few private parties, but we were a cover band. But then we started to write. Well, we had the idea maybe we could write a song, do some songs of our own. So David thought that was a great idea. And one day he knocked on our door. Tina Weymouth, who later became the bass player of Talking Heads, um, she and I shared a studio, a painting studio, in what is called Carr House on the corner of Benefit and Waterman Street.
Mm.
David knocked on the door and he said, "I got this song. I want you to help me with it. I could use some help." So the song happened to be Psycho Killer. And David had the idea that if we wrote the middle eight, or what they call the bridge section, in French, if the lyrics were in French, it would somehow imply a psychotic break and make the song seem like it really was about a crazy person. And so Tina wrote the bridge in. She just sat down and wrote it, and in French. And I wrote a couple more verses, additional verses. And when we played that song for our friends at RISD, they all responded really well to it. So we thought, well, this is promising, and we recorded that, and also another song called "Warning Sign." and a couple other songs we recorded, but the ones that made it through the ones that stood the test of time were Psycho Killer and Warning Sign. And we sent them off to one of my teachers, a guy named Alan Sondheim. He taught at RISD, but he also had a radio show in New York City on WBAI. And I had I had hopes that he would play it on his radio show. I don't know that he ever did, but he did give some of his archives to the Rhode Island School of Design. And among the archives was this little reel of tape that was the Artistics demo. It was recorded in my apartment upstairs from what used to be called Joe's Sandwich Shop. Joe's was a really well-loved spot. It's no longer there, but it's on Benefit Street.
So what was that like, getting the call from RISD that this tape had resurfaced and that they wanted to keep their promise to you and send it over to you to digitize?
Well, it was a wonderful moment. They actually delivered it. I believe you interviewed Margot. She and one of her colleagues, Diane, actually delivered it by hand to our home. And then I took it to, I said, oh, this is like the holy grail of Talking Heads. And I took it to a real expert who transferred it transferred the tape to the digital domain, and did some restoration on it also. And it's coming out on Record Store Day, Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And so what is your reaction to seeing, or remembering rather, the response from students for this tape, for this song, and then seeing the popularity that it's gained where it is today?
Well, I'm sorry, would you mind repeating the
Yeah,
question?
no, you're fine. So you were telling me about the student response to the song Psycho Killer when you first introduced it on campus. So what
Yeah.
was it like putting that song together and then seeing where it is today, that it is so loved?
Well, it's really great. I mean, the fact that Psycho Killer was the first song we ever wrote, it and it's still popular today. I mean, people are covering it all the time. Other bands, I mean, Wet Leg has done it. Duran Duran has done it. But most importantly, our fans, they really like the song. And I remember at the time we were working on it, David said that he was inspired by Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper was very huge in pop music at the time. And yeah, that was David's sort of jumping off point for the song.
Very nice. It's funny that you mentioned Alice Cooper. I think I went over to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio, and I think they had like an exhibit set up for.
Yeah.
And so is there anything that you would like fans of your music to know ahead of Record Store Day?
Well, you must remember, this is for art students with one microphone. And I think it's surprisingly good sounding for for the technology that we had. But it's kind of a rude recording. I don't mean rude in bad manners. I mean rude like the rude bridge that arched the flood. It's just kind of rustic. And on this release, there will be other demos that we made just after we moved to New York. But for me, it's the Artistics demos that are the most amazing.
Right. And I'm even curious. So what was that like, being an art student and then also being a band member at the same time?
Well, you know, music and art go hand in hand. They complement each other. Um, they work well together. So whatever it is that makes you want to make a painting, that impulse is the same impulse that makes you want to write a song or be in a band. And you know, I love painting to this day. In fact, I just bought a whole bunch of new art supplies. We'll see what happens, but music kind of took over for us uh, after we moved to New York. But I really value my time at Providence and at RISD. It was a wonderful time for me. I made friends that are still my friends today. And in fact, I married one.
You married a Rhode Islander?
Yeah, my wife Tina Weymouth was a she was not a Rhode Islander, but she was a RISD student,
Oh,
and she went on to be the bass player in Talking Heads.